Hey guys, so I am here and I wanted to answer a few questions that come up and I thought were pretty good to um, answer. Alright, so here we go. When you first started collecting, how many babies or dolls did you expect to have? I said I wanted four, max six. Um, and that had a lot to do with how many kids I actually have, real children, because I wanted to collect the doll to kind of look like each one of my kids and so on and so forth. And then, um, what happened? Why did I end up collecting more? Well, basically, long story short, just constantly trying to find perfection in a doll, trying to find the one that looked more realistic, the one looked, more to my taste, to my liking, and I just kept going and going, and then eventually, I realized what I liked, and then I realized I had about 20 babies in my collection, 20 baby dolls in my collection. Did you start with Reborns and Silicones? I started out with Reborns and I started out really cheap. I think my first Reborn was under $200 from eBay, and it was also on the very basic scale too, as far as the realism and all that. So um, yeah. So then, what started you to collecting silicones? First, I didn't know if I wanted to collect silicone babies. I had been watching them about the same amount of time I had been watching Reborns, but I was so afraid of them being fragile and how expensive they were. I thought I would never be able to afford them. And then on top of that, I mean, you got I'm like, am I going to spend this much money in them and then I can't play with them, so on and so forth. But what changed your mind? Well, I decided I would try it out because I kept watching these videos and I loved watching the changing videos and all that stuff, and the things that you could powder them and bathe them. And so I said, you know what, maybe I'll start out with a very inexpensive partial silicone. So what was your first silicone, baby? It was Logan. That was the name I gave him. I don't know what the sculpt name was, I forgot, but it was by Amy Strickland. And I paid under 800 bucks for him, I think, or under 900, something like that. But it was really low. And I think it was under 800. So, and then I realized I really, really liked the feel of it, and I was just like, oh man, I think I really want a full body. So how I got into full body is I bought a Boo Boo full body, and it was Emery by Lorna Miller Sands. And then it just kept progressing and progressing, and so on and so forth. At what point did you decide that you like one more than the other? Well, I kept going back and forth, and I still flip flop back and forth, but I think overall I pretty much primarily can say that I really do enjoy them both, but I do enjoy the silicones a lot more. But I think I still love them both a whole lot. Like I don't think that I will ever. Well, that brings me to the next question. Do you think you will ever stop collecting? I don't think I will ever stop collecting Reborns or silicones because I feel like they both offer something a little different for us. I think the Reborns, you get a lot more faces. They're a lot more affordable and easy to get. And then at some point I had to ask myself, just a moment, I had to ask myself, is it still a hobby or is it an addiction? And I believe at one point it became an addiction. It was the rush of the box opening, the rush of the new baby in the house, the rush of the new faces, the new sculpts, the new clothes, the excitement of, the channel, the hype. I believe it became an addiction because I just was buying them and buying them and buying them and buying them. I wasn't even enjoying them anymore, really. I was, one would come, I didn't even play with that one long enough before the next one will come. One time in 1 week, I got like 4 babies in 1 week. Like every day, I got a new baby, and that was a bit ridiculous. I think I had at that point it was an addiction. Um, I think I'm now going back into hobby mode. I've backed it up. I'm slowing it down, and I'm actually saving and not just saving up for dolls, because a lot of times we go and we say, oh, let's save up for the next best thing. No, I want to be able to save for my future, for my real children, for life, so now I'm back to saving for me. um, I don't think that I'll ever stop collecting though. I think that because I've always loved dolls from since I can remember, I don't think that I'll ever stop collecting. But I think that I'm to a point where now maybe I'll collect a baby a year. Maybe it'll only be 2 babies a year. Maybe some years I might not collect after I, as I continually slow down. Do I think this is a healthy hobby? Yes. But it can be a very unhealthy hobby as well. A lot of people don't want to admit to that, but it can be. And I'm not talking about the part of where people thinking the dolls are real, because I don't think, unless you already have a mental problem before you start collecting dolls, I don't think that any of us that are already sane and collect these dolls think that they're real. I don't think that we go that far. Even with the feeding, the bottle, bottle feeding, diaper changes, I don't think that none of us think that they are real. I think it becomes unhealthy when we start doing anything to get the dolls. You got people out here scamming, you got people out here stealing, and you got people selling things, you got people not paying their bills to buy dolls. You got all kinds of that stuff that just is not good, and I think that's when it becomes unhealthy. I really do. I really think it becomes unhealthy at that point. That is just a bit of the questions that I ask. Another thing is, do I spend more time with my dolls than I do my real children? Absolutely not. Between work and the things that do require my time with my children, I only have a little bit of time to get my videos in. I try to do it when either the baby is sleeping or playing with the other kids in the house where she's not requiring my attention. And then there's a lot of times you'll hear me interrupt the video because if she calls me or if she wakes up, then playtime for me is over. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge keeping the balance when you're being a YouTuber. I think the YouTube part is the part that you get the most time consuming and stuff, and I think that's when people get the misconception of what doll collecting is all about and the hobby is about, because they only feed off of what they see. Of course, they're not seeing us off camera when we're cooking and when we're cleaning, when we're working 50 hours a week, 40 hours a week, or however, or even being a house mom and catering to our husbands and our, whatever. And people don't get to see that. People don't get to see you in your business suits with your briefcase and taking care of your, cases. They don't know if you're an attorney or a doctor or a nurse or a police officer or a detective or whatever, a banker. They don't know that. They only know that, oh, all her videos, she's just playing with dolls all day. And then, or especially like for me, I upload like maybe 2, 3 a day sometime. Sometime I can upload 6 videos and everybody's like, gosh, all she do is record. But they don't realize that those videos can be taken at different times during the day, different days, and just uploaded, So I think it's a lot of misconception out there. I don't think that will change completely, ever. I don't care how many talk shows go out. I don't care how many, documentaries. I don't care how much we sit and do these type videos. I think there's always going to be people that's going to think we're crazy. I think there's always going to be videos. There's always going to be people that are gonna feel the way they feel because they don't understand it and it's not their hobby. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. So, as one of my YouTube friends say, keep calm and play with dolls. That's the way I see it. So, guys, I hope that you enjoyed these questions and answers. I will be doing a few of these here and there. So, yeah, my channel is kind of going all over the place right now because I'm really trying to find exactly what I want to do with it. And sometimes I just don't want to be boring. So, anyway, guys, I love you all. I hope you love all the babies. I'll give you a quick spin. This is Piper. He is Twin B by Bonnie Brown. Painted by Jeannie Dietrich, which is One Sleeping Angel. This is Romy, painted by Jeannie Teenies, which is Jeannie Larson. And he was sculpted by Lorna Miller Sands, and he is the Emery kit. This is my full body silicone baby. He is Kingston Andrew, but his sculpt name is Andrew by Claire Teller. Claire Teller Dolls. And yeah, so that is it. See you later. Keep calm and play with dolls.